Hello, welcome to another happy episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander, National Sales Manager for Bona Adhesives.
I am Rob Happy Johnson from Bona Training.
You look fantastic today, Rob. How you doing?
Oh, you know what? I'm feeling good too, man.
You look good.
Thank you.
You look good.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Little color. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Rob,
Well, did you happen to watch the hockey game yesterday?
I don't watch hockey, Rob.
Well, yesterday was the national one. You know, once a year they do the big outdoor game, the Winter Classic.
Yeah.
Featuring my Boston Bruins and Greg Bethune's Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay, nobody knows Greg. Yeah.
Everybody knows Greg.
I did not see it.
Greg has been with Bona now for 110 years. Everybody knows Greg.
Okay.
Everybody knows him.
All right. How was it? Was it a good game?
Well, I'm going to be brutally honest here. The first two periods sucked. It was like they didn't know they were in a real hockey game. You know, it was outdoors. They played it at Fenway Park. It was outdoors. And it's, like I said, it's a big national game, right? So they had their families there, and, you know, it's outside, and it's Fenway, and they dressed like baseball players before the game started. I mean, it was quite the production, okay? Bobby Orr came out, and Jason Varitek, you know, the old catcher for the Red Sox, won a couple World Series. So it was great if you're, you know, a Boston guy. But then once the game got going, the first two periods were kind of like a snooze, like almost like the NFL All-Star game. You know what I mean? Not really. But then the third period, the Bruins were down by a goal. It was 1-0, start of the third period. And both teams woke up and said, oh, this is a hockey game. And the last period was great. If they didn't come back in the last period, man, that game could have been a snooze fest. But the last period was a real hockey game, good. And, of course, the Bruins are just having an amazing year. They won yesterday, but they've been setting records all year long for win. They still haven't lost a regulation game at home.
Yeah.
I mean, hockey starts in October.
Wow. That's incredible.
You got 3 full months, and you haven't lost a regular time game yet. I think they've only lost 4 games all year. Anyways, what I'm driving at, because today's podcast is about staying happy, being positive. I was talking to my brother the other day, me and Pete, and my brother, Billy Kennedy, we all went out to breakfast. You know, something we do every New Year's or Christmas Eve, day before. And we were talking about this year's Bruin team. It reminded me of the 04 Red Sox team. Just doing amazing, but goofy as hell. I mean, just having a ball. At the end of every game, the two goaltenders go out and hug each other. You know, the goalie, the starter, and the backup goalie.
Yeah.
They do this big thing where they go out and hug, and I've never seen a happier team in my life. I mean, they are incredible. It's hysterical, okay? Mm-hmm. We had a new coach, and I was thinking, geez, a new coach, I don't know, this could be a rough year for us and everything. Like I said, I don't know what the guy's doing, but I have never seen a happier team in my life, to a point where the Bruins are looking at bringing in this kid who is an amazing player up in the juniors in Canada, but has a nasty background. He was accused of doing some bad things when he was in high school, and and the players got together and told the owner and the general manager, we don't want this guy. And he would have been a huge addition to the team, wow, as a player, right? But they said, no, we don't want any bad vibes. We don't want this guy.
No kidding.
The team went, yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy to hear this in professional sports, right? Mm-hmm. But that's what's going on, where the team had a meeting, said, I don't know about you guys, this guy could, mix up our chemistry, take away our happiness.
Wow.
They went to the general manager and said, "Yeah, why don't we pass on this guy?" So as soon as the GM hears that, they're like, "Yeah, he's out."
Wow. I wonder if that guy will ever play them.
You know, I don't. He hasn't been picked up yet.
Interesting.
Yeah, somebody's going to get desperate, and they're going to need some. He'll get picked up. I think he'll get picked up eventually. But, anyways, I just thought it was a little story we tell about being happy.
Yeah. As a sidetrack to that, I used to have a friend named Pete Hayes. He was about 15 years older than us, my brothers and I, right? And he used to tell us he had a girlfriend named Linda, okay? And he'd show a picture of his girlfriend named Linda, who was very attractive. Pete was not an attractive man. He's passed away now, so
now you can
Pete was a
walk all over his grave right now.
Pete was a big boy. He was like 360 pounds. He had a military crew cut, and he was stuck in the 50s, okay? And he had a big, boisterous voice, and was just not a nice guy. But he would always tell us about his girlfriend, Linda. And not one of us has ever seen Linda, ever. The reason why...
Not at the wake, not at the funeral, nothing.
No, we kind of lost touch with him before he died. I don't know whatever happened there. But I started thinking as you were telling that story, you mentioned your friend Pete, that we've never seen Pete. He's never been on the podcast. He's real, right? I mean, you're not making this guy up.
Is Pete real? He's the most real SOB you ever met in your life. And I'll tell you, I hope...
Well, I haven't met him.
I hope you don't meet him, okay? Because...
He's hot? And by hot, I mean mad?
He's not crazy about the way you treat me on the podcast.
Okay.
So I think he's got a score to settle. You know what's funny you said that? I was doing a class in Albany back in August. First week of August, I was doing a 2-day class in Albany. And one of the guys who comes in, he goes, "Oh my God, I love you and Wayne. The podcast is awesome." You know, just going on and on and on. And he's telling everybody, you know, there's a few other people there who didn't listen, didn't know about us, and there were some other listeners. But he's making sure that everybody got it right. You know, downloading it, finding it, and everything. He's going out of his way. So we're sitting during lunch one day, and we're all talking, and he said, "Hey, I got a question to ask you. Is Pete real?
Yeah.
Pete real?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Let me tell you something. He's the most real son you ever met. Yes, he's real."
Okay.
I go, "This guy will chew through a brick wall and come out looking good on the other side." Okay. And he's just like, "Oh, I don't know. I hear the stories." Well, don't you think the guy who runs the distributor there, now he's known Pete for 20 years. He comes up and he goes, "Hey, I just got a call from Pete. He's on his way over. He needs to pick some stuff up." And I said, "Oh, okay. All right. You got it.
Here we go."
Here we go. So I said, "When he gets here, send him up, will you please?" I go, "Tell him there's some food up here. Tell him we're having lunch and there's, you know, plenty for him."
Yeah.
So about 15 minutes later, Pete come walking in. I said, "Pete, this guy right here, he didn't think you're real." Pete's a quiet guy, okay? Mm-hmm. Pete's a very quiet guy. He goes, no, I'm pretty sure I'm real."
All right, so it's not just me then.
It's not just you. No.
All right.
You know what? It's 2023. Maybe we will have him on the show. Okay?
You should. Yeah.
Maybe. Now.
You owe him any money or anything?
No.
Okay.
No. At that school, though, he gave me one of the best compliments I've ever had anybody give me in my life, and it came from Pete, which knocked me over. You know what I mean? You know, you don't get a lot of compliments from your brother. Pete and I are more like brothers than we are friends.
Yeah.
So Pete, you know, we're going to get the class back going. He's got to get back to the job. So he stands up and he said, that guy who said is Pete real was also wearing an on the floor T-shirt,
Hmm.
and Pete had never seen an on the floor T-shirt. So he sees this guy's T-shirt. He looks over and he goes, "Only rock stars have their face on T-shirts. You know that, right?"
Hmm. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that
that's
was pretty
cool.
good.
Yeah,
And then
that's-
as he's leaving, he's like saying goodbye to everybody. And like I said, one of the best compliments anybody ever gave me. He said, "I've been working with him since 1982," pointing at me.
yeah,
And we never had anything break down that he couldn't take care of.
I'll
Ever.
be darned. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
out of
pretty
all,
cool.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
that's pretty good.
that was the best compliment I think anybody
Yeah.
ever gave me.
Yeah, nice.
And I was
Nice.
thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? He's right. I truly am amazing. I am.
Yeah. Well, this guy Pete Hayes used to say stuff like that about Linda. Oh, she says that's so nice and this, that, and the other and everything. Oh, she did this. She came over and cooked dinner and everything. And so until I see Pete, I'll just
Okay.
take it for what it is. All right. So this episode is
Well,
about
you know what? You might see him.
Mhm.
You might see him this year sometime because not only does he do floors, but he works at the post office too, full time. I've said that a million times. And like I said, we were out to breakfast the other day, and he said, "Yep, 4 months, and I'm done." He
He's retiring.
retires. He's
Good for him.
retiring, and
Yep.
so now it'll be all floors all the time.
All right.
So I said, "Man, if you're going to retire, I got plenty of points. You should, fly out with me to some of the schools."
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go. You just
I
might. I think you and Pete get along pretty good. He's a huge music guy too.
Oh,
Big
nice,
time,
nice.
big
Well-
time music guy. So
Well, I'd love to meet alleged Pete whenever it happens. So,
the alleged Pete.
all right. So, creating a happy work environment. Okay, you talked about Boston Bruins having an amazing season, and they didn't want someone on because he wasn't nice.
He wasn't. Nah, he was kind of a bad dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what else you want to say about being happy? I see that you say here when you say that happy people are not lazy people. In fact, happy people are more motivated to work. I've known some pretty happy lazy people.
Well,
I really have.
this is. I didn't read all the studies done on happiness.
Okay.
Okay, I just read this one Harvard study on happiness.
This was
And-
a Harvard study.
This is a Harvard study, and I'm not saying they're right or wrong,
Okay.
but these are some of the things that they said. Happy people tend not to be lazy.
Okay.
So, it's not going to be etched in stone.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. They tend not to be lazy.
These studies, you know how studies are. They're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
percentages.
There's always an outlier here and there. Yeah.
Are you a happy person?
I can be.
You seem like a happy person.
I am a happy
You
person.
seem like a
Yeah,
happy person.
Yeah, I am. I am. a
Okay.
happy person,
Are you
yeah.
a hard worker?
Yes, you have to ask me that.
There you go. So
Okay.
you fit right into this study.
Okay.
Now, if you want to go out of your way to bang holes in all this, yeah, that could be fun too.
No, I kind of, I get their point, but I have seen a lot of lazy people that were happy. Just as I'd almost
So
say,
you looked right at me and cleared your throat.
yeah. Well, no, I know better than that, man. You're not. I would never say that about you. Not
Not to my face.
to your face. No.
Right. You wait till I get up from the table.
Yes. You see that guy right there? He's really lazy.
Like I said, I went out to breakfast with the boys the other day. I got up to go to the bathroom. I came back. When I sat down, boy, it was quiet. So I go, "So what were you saying about me?
Hmm.
What'd you say about me?" Everything's silent. And Billy says, "Well, never to leave first. You know the
Yeah.
rule."
Oh, yeah.
I
Absolutely.
was like, "Wow!" I was just going to the bathroom. I thought for sure.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, don't get up on the table first.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne, in today's social climate, we have been bombarded with negativity, politics, wars, inflation, COVID, protests, etc. We are surrounded a toxic stew of negativity. It can feel wrong to promote happiness in this climate, but happiness is not selfish. I kind of wrote that one down. I like that. That that got me a little bit. Like, yeah, you're right.
When you ever come across somebody that's really, really happy, that you walks in the room and whatever, or she walks in the room, and they're just they exude happiness and they're nice and they're polite, it elevates everybody in the room, right? Unless you're just a complete a-hole. Um, it really does. It does one of two things. It either makes them mad, or it really elevates the whole room and makes everybody happy. A positive, like you said, that guy in the locker room. I absolutely have seen somebody just drag the whole team down before just because of the attitude and the negativity. So 100%, I believe that. I mean, you get around someone that's like that, it's contagious. And we all know those guys. They're just super happy people, and they're just a joy to be around. Man, you can't, put on paper what that's worth, but it is worth a lot. So absolutely, I believe in that.
Well, I think it also has an effect on business. I mean, as I was, getting deeper into this article, I'd like this one right away. It said, happy people engage with the world. Less happy people tend to be more inward and become preoccupied with issues. So yeah, you're talking about the world, but I replaced the word world with customers.
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I want I want anybody working for me or with me, I want them to be happy engaging with customers. Not crazy engagement now. Because I
yeah,
have heard some, doing the trainings and everything, I have heard some amazingly
yeah,
funny stories about people who over engage
yeah,
the customers.
yeah, yeah, oh, yeah.
So
Well,
maybe
uh,
pull it back a little bit.
along with this, I really like curious people, and I think curious people are great to be around. And because they're always, and that actually was when people get older, they stop being curious. And that's the thing about when you're a novice versus an expert. An expert has very few options in life. I mean, he's ruled out everything except for what he knows exactly what is going to work. And sometimes you can stop being curious. I think curious people are always looking for other angles, or they're interested in other people. They want to know. And we've all seen people too that also it's all about them. I mean, and everything. How does it affect me, and how does it relate to me, and blah blah blah. But I like people that ask questions, that are curious of the world around them. And I think if when people stop being curious, it also is not good. I think you have to always be curious, and actually it's big in sales, by the way. You always want to know, how can it be different? How can let me look at something that I wasn't maybe looking at, let me learn something I didn't know before. When you get those mechanics that have been we talk about it all the time, we've been in the trade for 20 years, but you've been doing the same thing the same way for 20 years. And maybe, they just don't have the curiosity to go outside that comfort zone. I think that's a big part of it. And I know we're talking about happiness or whatever, but I think that's a quality that is very important as well. I'll just put that out there.
There you go. Okay, so here's some more stuff I got from this Harvard study. Now, what this Harvard study did was they went to a hospital during the pandemic and they started this whole happiness thing. And what they did was they had the hospital promoting ways to get their employees to become happy.
Mhm.
Okay. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But here's what they got with the feedback from happy employees. You ready for this one?
Yes, sir.
50% less burnout. Now, these are
Mhm.
people that are taking care of COVID patients.
Yeah.
The happy people, 50% less burnout, 20% increase in optimism. highest ever increase in social connections and a dramatic increase, and this one blew me away, a dramatic increase in patient safety. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
glad you choked on that one too, because I read that
Yeah.
one. I was like, holy crap. What do you mean patient safety? What the
You,
hell's going on with pissed off people?
you see a grumpy nurse come in the room, you want to hit that bell. Yeah, give me somebody else.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
You saw in prisons and as well as hospitals and old folk centers when they bring in cats to the room, and how much that just changes everything, changes their whole outlook, changes. I mean, going from a mean prison guy to just very much a happier, more content person with having the animals in the around them. So I believe in it 100%. Speaking of cats,
Uh-oh.
I've got my older cat is a sweetheart. I mean, he's a guy. He's a great cat. We have the younger cat now. Well, the older, when cats are very clean animals. In our house we have at least 4 litter bath, or what do you call litter boxes.
Box.
Yeah, where they go to the bathroom. And I know people say that, oh yeah, you come in our house, you'd never even know I have an animal. Like my sister-in-law will say that, but you walk in her house, boom, you smell dogs right away. You know what I mean? You go in her car, it smells like dogs. So that's her life. I'm not complaining. But cats are very clean. We have 4 litter boxes, and Judy cleans them daily, like several times a day. You'd never know. Until about a month or 2 ago, when their oldest cat, all of a sudden, he's not covering up when he goes to the bathroom, he doesn't cover it up anymore. Okay, he leaves it there. Now, that's not like cats to do that, because cats always cover up when they go to the bathroom, they cover it up, right? So we're like,
I had no idea they did that.
yes.
So a cat goes to the bathroom in the box.
They always, 100%, always. Cats always, yes, they dig and cover it. Yes. I mean, they're clean animals. And you want them to do that, by the way, because of the odor and stuff like that.
Right.
But our cat now, the older cat, about the last 2 months, doesn't cover it up anymore. So we're thinking, well, why did he change his behavior? What's the deal with that? So Judy started researching it, and it's a sign of dominance. Is why they do that, and I think it's because him and that younger cat. So I started thinking about it. I'm not going to flush the toilet anymore.
I was just gonna say, damn, I wanted to do that joke. Right. I was just gonna say, so you stop flushing the toilet.
Absolutely.
You don't flush anymore.
As a sign of dominance. Not at home.
Dominance.
At home, of course I would. But I'm gonna try that for a while.
You're a gem. How come they don't make dogs they don't make boxes for dogs?
Oh, they're too big.
Why is it only cats get to do that?
Well, the little dogs they do. But I don't like little dogs. Little small dogs. I like them. I mean, I wouldn't want one.
Don't be insulting.
I know.
Don't be insulting the little dogs, okay? You're gonna make my daughter cry.
Uh-oh.
We had to take care of I'm gonna send a picture to you guys too. I beg her every year to put this dog in the ugliest dog contest in the world because she got a shot at top 10. This dog.
He's ugly, huh?
Dottie is an ugly girl. Yeah, ugly. Even the place where I got her, the rescue place.
Yeah.
Even they were shocked that we took her. They're like,
wow.
yeah, nobody takes the old ones.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot to be said for that, man. That's why, man, anybody that has a chance to pick a dog from one of those places, man, if you pick an old dog, you'll never have a more grateful critter in your life around you. So I'm a big fan of that, man. Pick an old dog.
This dog is homely though. Oh,
really?
Oh yeah.
Send me a picture of her.
Right now?
No, when you get a chance.
Okay.
Let's just stop the show so you can send me a picture of her. But you bring up a good point when you talk about happiness, Rob. It translates to if you got when in the work environment, it's critically important that you have that that harmony on the job site and people are getting along. And I think a lot of this goes to communication. A lot of people that aren't happy, that feel like they're not being heard, you know what I mean, or their needs are not getting met. We had Sprig Lynn on and Steve, last name escapes me, I apologize, but they were talking about keeping the employees happy or whatever, and it is very important. And if you have a guy that you can tell when a guy's not happy, right? Well, it's pretty obvious if you got him scraping corners for the 3 weeks consecutively on jobs and doing and scraping risers. It might have a reason not to be happy. Yeah. But if you start realizing the guy's not happy on a job, whatever, and it could be something going on at home, it may not be work related at all. But I think getting that out and venting and discussing that is really, really important.
That study I was talking about, the management at that hospital went nuts when they found out how this all worked out. And they really, their approach now is, we need to find a way to harness the power of this because it made such a difference.
Those are shocking numbers. I mean, really shocking numbers.
Those numbers blew me away. I'm not, I'm not big into stuff like this, but man, those numbers just said a ton. They also did this with MetLife, right? The people who MetLife insurance and everything.
Yeah.
They did it with MetLife, the same thing, the happiness thing with their employees. Because now they're thinking, well, that was just nurses and doctors and COVID and this and that. So let's try it in a commercial. Long story short, employee happiness, they had a 37% increase in sales and productivity.
Yeah. So we're
37% increase. Those are some wild numbers.
And we're kind of joking around a little bit about this, but damn it, that cannot be denied. That's massive. I mean, yeah. But like, what else could you do if you had to get 37% more productivity out of your employees? How much money you'd have to spend and how many things, and maybe you'd have to hire somebody else and this, that, and the other. But that's probably a relatively inexpensive investment in yourself and your company and your employees.
Exactly.
To get that much productivity.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
That 37% in sales and productivity, I was like, that's nuts. Just for changing somebody's attitude.
Yeah. And I don't think anything's forever. I mean, you have someone or you could be that person that's not happy. And it hasn't, listen, I've said it before. I worked with a guy in International Harvester, and he was the most miserable guy at parts department on the counter. The guy was beyond miserable. And when a couple of years goes by and I wasn't working with him anymore, another guy mentioned his name. I said, that's the most miserable guy I've ever worked in my life. He goes, no, are you kidding me? He's phenomenal. I go, we're talking about a different guy then. He goes, no, you're talking about Fred, right? I go, yeah, worked the counter. He goes, yeah, he's the greatest guy I've ever been around.
Oh my God.
I said, you got it. There's something, it cannot be the same guy. He goes, no, he changed jobs. We have him doing something else now. So, and not only is that, he's our best guy. So, sometimes guys are in a niche that they just like to do certain things. Your sanding guy, who might be a great sander that also installs, begrudgingly, maybe would rather be on that sander all the time. And maybe that makes more sense. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, I don't know.
No, that's perfect. That is absolute perfect. You're right. Well, I know me personally.
Do you?
I'd rather be on a sander all day long.
Yeah, and I would not want that.
Yeah. Well, of course.
Yeah. I would.
That's why we do the show together.
Yeah. I mean, I'd want to be sanding half the time, but I also want to be installing. It's just, you're talking about, these are some big numbers you're throwing out, man. 37% of productivity is a massive number.
Let me talk about a couple other benefits from happiness.
Well, before you go any further.
This thing was crazy.
Yeah, hold on a second. 50% less burnout, 20% increase in optimism, highest ever increase in social connections, a dramatic increase in patient safety. Well, we don't care about patient safety in our industry, but those are incredible numbers, man.
Yeah.
This is something when, again, this is January, this beginning of the year. This is something to really think about with yourself and your employees. And I'll tell you something else. With your relationships, your wife and spouses and boyfriends and girlfriends and those type of things. I don't like arguing. I don't argue. We get along. My wife and I get along fantastic. I've been around couples that's their lifestyle, and I don't even want to be around it, man. I don't want to see it. Don't want to be around it. I don't have time for it. So I think that a few small changes, and as you get older, it's harder to change, as they say. But you know what? This is an investment in yourself, and a whole lot beyond that. So
Well, I know it's an investment in ourselves, but for guys who own companies and are running companies, you got to look at these numbers. I mean, the
Yeah.
productivity numbers, the
yeah.
optimism numbers.
Mhm.
I mean, all that is gonna. I mean, one of the big things that's facing everybody now in this business is employee retention, getting them and holding them.
And I'm going to tell you something. One of the easiest ways to turn a guy's attitude around is to recognize their hard work. I don't care who you are. Everybody wants an attaboy once in a while. You know what I mean?
There's
Uh,
there's a bullet on that one. We're
Yeah.
coming down to that one.
Oh, okay. See how
Yeah.
I'm so tuned
Yeah,
in?
you're way ahead of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go
That's
ahead.
because you're a happy guy.
Yes.
Couple quick other happy benefits of being happy. Your memory improves. You're more creative. Your problem solving triples, which I love that one. Your intelligence rises. You live longer. Your symptoms are less acute, and social bonds are deeper for happy people.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a good illustration of that. I just thought of this. This is the genius of me. Um, has anybody ever
Wait. The genius of you.
really ticked you off on a job? Like I'm not quite fighting, but close to it. Like a electrician did something, or somebody said something, or what have you.
I hate to say it out loud. Yeah, my brother.
Okay, there you go.
My brother.
Now-
and
now-
I've done it to him. He could say the exact same thing. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Robbie.
So
Robbie. Yeah.
at that point, after that happens, how hard is it now to concentrate on the job at hand? Where's your mind at? It ain't on the
Killing him.
job.
Right. No, you're right.
Well, even road rage. I've read stories about people get upset driving down the road, and have a road rage incident. Now you're not thinking. Now you're so focused on that you can't think about nothing else. You know what I mean? So I think that this is bigger than it's a episode on happiness, but it's bigger than that. Because when you get that ticked off, and you're even someone sends you an email that rubs you the wrong way, it just takes all your focus away from everything else into a negative avenue. And I'll tell you, sometimes taking a time out is one of the best things you can do. Go for a walk. You know what? And how many times you're cutting a very difficult, cutting something in around a border, whatever, very difficult, and you try it, that's not quite there. You do another one, the cut's just quite not there. This never happened to me, but I'm assuming it's happened to you before. But and then you just, for whatever reason, you're just stuck on it. But have you ever set it down and walk away and come back, and how easy it is when you do it another time, because you're not hot anymore, you're not upset about it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think these are life skills that really help.
See, it's those little comments that you make about me that Peter feeds on. Okay.
Well, it makes me happy.
He-
You want me to be happy, don't you?
And you remember, Pete's a hockey player. He's a fighter.
Yeah.
Okay. He can throw.
Allegedly. Okay. I'm
Okay.
quick.
All right.
Hmm.
All right. Let's talk about tips on
Tips?
building happiness habits.
I thought you said hips.
Tips.
Okay, tips.
TIPS. Tips
Okay.
on
tips.
building those happiness habits.
Okay.
And there you go, right off the bat. Personal health, eating, exercise. Most importantly, though, in this study was sleep. And something I learned about this sleeping, it's not just getting your 8 hours.
Mhm.
It's the lead up to it. They said that you should have like a little bit of a winding down period get some momentum in a winding down period and then go to bed and then get your 8 hours, rather than, like say banging out emails all night long and then, jumping in the sack. They said that you should have like a cool down period, a winding down period. I don't know if I've ever done that. I don't even know what that looks like, but I'll try it. I'll try whatever.
When I was younger, I needed a lot more sleep than I do now. And I remember like you doing floors and you go to bed 10, 11 o'clock at night, whatever. You wake up and you're exhausted. You're tired. Like it's hard to wake up in the morning. You're driving to work and you're tired. As I've gotten older, I don't need as much sleep. Well, I probably do, but I don't sleep as much, but I feel fine when I wake up. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go. And that's happening later in life. And I'm sure part of that is because when you're doing floors, it's a very physical job and you're working your butt off. I mean, it's a hard job. You're going to get tired. Your body needs a rest, but your body does need that rest. And even for a young kid, man, it's important to get that sleep. So I agree with you on that.
You have a routine though, or you just go to bed whenever?
I'm pretty much in a routine. Yeah.
All right. Next one. Social connections. And when I first read social connections, I'm like, social connections? What the hell is that? Social connections is exactly what I started the show with. The team, the crew. This is going to be tough. We got a lot of guys out who listen to the show, I know, that work alone. So this is going to be a tough one. And what the example they used is if you're about to climb a mountain. If you're climbing it by yourself, when there's somebody standing next to you that, you're both going to climb that mountain, the mountain looks 20% easier to do when you're with the team. But like they said, it's called social connections, but the social support really matters. And you're going to get more productivity if the team is working like a team. And I go back to, just the way the Bruins are playing this year. I mean, it's hysterical to watch because they're like goofy having fun for a hockey team.
I watched a basketball game over the Christmas break. I went to a basketball tournament and some of the best top 10 teams around the country. And this one team was getting lit up. I mean, right off the bat, the other team jumped on them, and it was like a 19-6 lead. And then all of a sudden, you saw the other team pass the ball, pass multiple times before they went to the basket. And they turned that around. I mean, and by the end of the game, they blew them away. But the other team, I thought, well, gosh, this is a mismatch. I mean, the other guys that had jumped out to a 19-6 lead, the guy was like a 6'9", they had a 6'11", 6'8" guys up front. The other guys didn't have that size. So I thought, well, I guess this is going to be a mismatch. But then when you saw them pass the ball, and working, you could feel the energy of them turn around as working as a team and stop being selfish, and they won the game. But that to me is no different than when you have a team of guys working together. And I said this term many times before, is false hustle. I hate seeing false hustle, where right now the job is to scrape the corners or scrape the risers. It's not picking up stuff off the floor. It's not doing the rounding, taking the cords and winding the cords up. No. That's not the job. The job right now is get your butt in that corner. I want to see elbows and my father-in-law used to say, and get that done. And when you have that kind of where you trust each other, that this guy's working as hard as me, I'm working, you know what I mean? Everybody's in it together. Then it goes so much faster, so much better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This next bullet, this is just what you were touching on before. Understanding your own and other people's needs when building happiness on the team. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And I know that we've talked about this many times. Some people are driven by different things. Okay. Yeah. Some people are money driven. Some people are driven by goals. You know, me personally, and I told this to Bill Price when I first got hired at Bona. I go, man, you slap me on the back every once in a while, tell me I'm doing a great job. I'll give you another 100 miles, man. You know, I mean, money's nice and all that thing, but I like accolades, and just like you said, sometimes, you know, there's some people that's what they respond to, a good attaboy or something, but it's definitely not a one size fits all.
One of the toughest things you can do is compromise, especially if when you're the boss, because this old attitude where we grew up is I'm the boss, it's my way or the highway, is a different game now. And we used to have an employee that would, if I'd say, hey, all right, we got to be at this job at 8 o'clock. This guy's not going to be there at 8 o'clock. He's going to be there at 8:30. Just what his routine is in the morning, whenever he stops for his coffee, but would drive me nuts. I had to let it go because when he got there, he was good. He was happy and he did his thing. But that's a compromise I had to make. All right, this guy is what he is. Or a guy on a machine might do something differently than me, but he's getting the job done. He's productive. The job is fine. Just let it go. So you have to find your spots. There's certain non-negotiables, obviously, but there's certain areas you got to let go. You got to let that guy. You got to give him some rope, and then trust that he's going to do the right thing by it. So I think it's tough too when you get older. It's tougher to compromise, especially when you grew up in an industry that was uncompromising. My foremans we had would talk to you like you're a dog. I mean, that's just the way it was. I mean, they talk to you like you were a dog. And the next guy, you don't want the job, there's the next guy in line. Get out. And do you even think about complaining? But it's a different game now. So that being able to compromise is just part of the game. But on the other hand, if you're on the other side of that, you have to recognize that it's a two-way street. You have to honor that and respect that.
It's funny you said that. Bum and I helped him on a job not too long ago, and him and I, for years, had trouble working together. As he got older and more involved in it and learned more, and listen, I'm the first one to admit he is better at doing floors than I am. Okay, even Pete was saying it the other day. He goes, I went and looked at one of his stain jobs, and I couldn't believe. He said it looked like a pre-finished floor, but he's a perfectionist. And I was telling Pete, I go, when you retire and you might get back in the game a little bit and working with him, I said I found a brand new way to work with Bum, because for years, if he didn't like the way I was doing something, he did not mind saying, hey, do this, do that, and I was like, who the hell are you telling me? Right. So the last couple jobs him and I worked on, he had said something and I said, yeah, sure, go right ahead, do it. And I'll tell you, by just, not having an ego and not getting into, look, we're going to be putting sealer down. You're not going to see that. When you put sealer on it, you're a nut. No. Yeah. And now our happy place is, I said to Pete, I go, let him do whatever the hell he wants. He does a good job. There's no taking it away from him. So it makes him happy. I'm happy. There's no battling and everything. Yeah. And I don't know if it's something that, I just realized as you get older, maybe I don't have to fight every fight that's out there now, Well,
it's funny you should say that, because here's the other side of that. My father-in-law was a genius. I've never met he was a construction superintendent, and he was a legend. Anybody that knew of this company, they would always bring up his name. There was nobody like Tony O'Toole. And his son went to work for him as a carpenter, and his son's a bright guy. And they could not work together. It was comical to me if they were working in the house. If they're gonna lay tile in the bathroom, whatever. I mean, within 5 minutes, it was World War III. World War III. And they never resolved it their entire lives. They never got to a point where one would give. And I used to think, look, he's your dad, man. He's helping you. You're lucky you got this help. Or the old man, hey, he's your kid, man. He's trying to spread his wings too. But neither one of them ever compromised, and he never enjoyed working together. And it was a shame.
No, and it was funny because I was laughing about it. I said to Bum at the end of the job, I go, "Hey, did you notice anything different?" And he goes, "Yeah, we got along pretty good, you know." And even he kind of picked up on it. And I said, "Yeah, you know why? Because I just let you do whatever the hell you want,
There you go.
and
Yep.
everything looks great, you know."
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
um, we had talked in the last podcast about taking a look at the negatives, right? So you don't repeat the negatives from last year. But since this is a podcast on being happy and happiness, one of the things that I really liked when I read this was focusing on last year's positives. Because one of the things that, well, like I know, you're national adhesive sales manager. Right now, your number is at 0.
Mhm.
And you're thinking of, oh my God, I'm at 0. Where if you focus on the positives from last year, it's a quick start to the new year rather than feeling like we're starting at 0. Cataloging last year's accomplishments is going to help this year with some really good momentum and excitement building off of last year's positives. And I
Yep.
was like, wow, that makes a whole hell of a lot of sense.
Yep.
You're
Oh, you
still at
know,
0.
yeah. But here's the thing too, and people hear me say this a lot, but I really do wish people would pat themselves on the back more, and I really hope they realize, you know, how impressive it is to do this job, and especially these guys with longevity, been doing it for years and years. I really think it's important that you acknowledge that, and you find that in yourself and appreciate that about yourself. Um, and yeah, and even write down a list. Here's all the positive things we did last year. I
Yeah,
mean, you think about
absolutely.
it. If you did 50 jobs last year, I'd say most people get through this without having to do any sandovers, right? Maybe you got one or two. Okay. Look how many times you had to be damn near perfect to get paid. I mean, really, in this climate, man, I mean, customers are more aware than ever before. The standards seem to be more elevated. And you went into some people's houses and you got paid for doing this craft. I think it's amazing, and I hope people do. And I think that you get caught up in the game so much when you're doing it that you don't recognize it or acknowledge it when at the time. So I think that's a mistake that I made. But sometimes the journey, man, is like they say, is better than the destination. So I think that it's important to do that and recognize that, and recognize the people around you that have helped you in any way at all. Any way at all. The guys behind the counter are such a good help. To give them a, hey man, we bought came in here a lot of times last year. You always had the product for us. We thank you for that. Thanks for your partnership and everything, because it is a partnership. They're in it too. There ain't no easy job in this floor business.
No,
Working behind that counter.
there really isn't. You're right. There's not an easy job here. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, what it would mean to the guy behind the counter to just say, hey, man, shake the guy's hand. I really appreciate everything last year you did for us, and appreciate everything. And it goes miles, man. It goes miles. So
I'm not patting myself on the back, but it's little things, okay? I was buying something. I had to go grab something Christmas Christmas night at the convenience store. I don't know why I picked up. But I walked in and this kid at the counter is like, "Hey, Merry Christmas." And I'm thinking, this poor bastard working Christmas Day, right? God
yeah,
knows how long he's been there. Christmas Day, big smile on his face, wishing everybody who walked through the door Merry Christmas.
yeah.
So I said, "Oh, give me that $5 scratch ticket there." And he gave me the ticket, and I just turned around and handed it back to him. I go, "Here, Merry Christmas, man." And oh my God, you should have seen the look in this kid's face. For $5, I would hope that he would want some money off of the damn thing. But
I have a problem with that.
uh-oh,
I really do.
I
Uh,
probably wouldn't have done it if the kid wasn't so nice and said, "Hey, Merry Christmas" to me. As soon as I walked through the door, very happy.
if there's one thing I'm not going to buy somebody is lottery tickets. If that dude cashed out for, he won $3 million, that's a problem.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I'll give the guy $5 or I'll do whatever, but I'm not buying anybody a lottery ticket.
Just
would
in
feel
case they win.
Of course.
That's the reason.
Of 100%.
Didn't we just do a 45-minute show on being happy?
Look, that's got nothing to do with being happy. You want to talk about making me unhappy? If I give somebody a $30 million lottery ticket, that falls under the category now of stupid. So, hey, honey, guess what happened? Oh, you're not going to believe this at work today. Yeah, I really like the guy behind 7-Eleven. So I got him a $5 scratch off lottery ticket thing, and he won $30 million. Isn't that great? That's not great. That's bad.
Wow. You got a different way of looking at things, man.
Are you telling me that you'd be okay with that? Rob?
I'm thinking.
Okay.
Well, I'd have to be okay with it. What am I gonna let it? And maybe I'll give him a buzz, and he could, maybe he'll give me a chunk. I don't know.
Okay.
If you were that guy at the counter and you won, would you keep
Nothing.
it all, or would you try to find the guy who gave it to you and split it with him?
I keep every dime of it. But you know what I would do? I'd buy him a $5 lottery ticket.
Okay.
I don't know what I'd do. I'm sure
Oh man, happiness is not a result; it's a choice that needs to be cultivated, buddy.
Yep, we talked about that. I do. I think it's something. For some people, you have to work on it.
Yeah.
And it is a choice. I mean, you can be miserable or whatever. I mean, perception, is reality. They say you could be miserable or whatever, or you could just try to see the positive. And like you said, the guy working behind the counter probably makes a hell of a lot less money than you do, and he had a good attitude.
So next time I don't know, buy him a muffin.
Buy him
anything but a ticket.
Anything but a lottery ticket. I'm giving away. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I will. Now you got me thinking like, oh, geez. Yeah.
Go back to the guy. So look,
But he's not there anymore. He cashed out and he moved to Miami. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
He's out of here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Rob, the good stuff. I really do think it's important because attitude is everything. If you look at the numbers you put out with those Harvard studies, it's shocking. And so
blew me away, man. It absolutely blew me away.
And it's everybody's business. It's everybody working there, the owners, yourself, and everything. I think it's a good time to start looking at it that way. So
maybe on the way out, Chris can play that happy song by Pharrell.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have the rights to that. If we have, I don't think we can afford that. So we're going to do our usual happy song.
Even that song makes me want to dance a little bit.
Well, there you go. Save it for later.
Save it. Yeah.
All right, Rob. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good job. And this has been another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please stay tuned for another episode.